Okay, good morning Year 5. Just before we start, if you hear any snoring in the background, that's Ordell, and I can't do anything about that. So try and bear with us this morning. Hope everyone's okay. Yesterday we did a little recap on multiplying by 10, 100 and 1,000. At the end of the lesson we just mentioned about dividing by 10. So this is what we're going to focus on this morning. Before we start, you can have a go at completing today's arithmetic challenge, which is in front of you. And obviously, if you just pause the video in order for you to have a go at those, and I'll give you the answers in a moment. So pause the video, work through. Okay, the answers for bronze, I'm just going to read them through, should be 10, 144, 48, 36, 144, 12, 84, 2, 11 and 10. For silver challenge today, it was 203, 32, 419, 60, 366, 900, 2036, 29, 8020, 4623. And for gold, it was 30, 300, 300, 3000, 300, 3, 100, and the last one was 3000. So I hope you did okay with those. We're just going to move on. Okay, so we've got some Dean's rods in front of us. Have a look at them, and what number is represented here by the rods? Okay, now hopefully you would have said 50. There are 5 tens, so 5 tens equals 50. So how could we divide this number by 10? So if we divided the number by 10, there are 5 groups of 10 in 50. So 50 divided by 10 would be 5. Okay, so let's have a look at this problem. Dave has got 30 pencils, but he has to divide them between 10 pencil pots. So how many pencils will be in each pot, or will each pot have? So think about the calculation here. It's going to be 30 divided by 10. So how many will be in each pot? Have a think about that. Now let's work through. Okay, so we've got our 10 pots in front of us, and we're going to start dividing our crayons into each pot. And remember, when we're dividing, we need to make sure that we have an equal number shared out into each pot. So we've got up to 2 crayons almost in each pot. And let's see if we're able to divide equally. All our crayons have gone into the pot, so if we just do a quick check, it looks like there are 3 crayons in each pot. So we can say 30 divided by 10 equals 3. The number has got 10 times smaller. Let's look at the number 100. Okay, so I've got some tens place value counters. How many tens counters will go into 100? So at the moment, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So if we just do a quick check, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 counters. Okay. So with your partner, obviously if you're at home, be with an adult possibly, use a place value grid to divide these numbers by 10. So you can write your calculations on a piece of paper like we did in class yesterday. You could draw your own grid and just have a quick go at doing those. You can pause the video now. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at doing that. So 60 divided by 10 would be 6. 120 divided by 10 would be 12. 160 divided by 10 would be 16. 190 divided by 10 would be 19. And 210 divided by 10 should be 21. Okay, now if you'd like to have a go at these ones as well, see if you could put counters in your grid like we did yesterday. So do a visual representation for all of these calculations. So if you pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so hopefully you were able to represent the answer as being 32, 56 and 90 with the correct counters in each place value column. Okay, so have a look at the calculations in front of you and see if you can spot a pattern and try and work out what the missing number is. Okay, so hopefully you've spotted a connection or a pattern. Like addition and subtraction, multiplication and division are the inverse of each other. So the missing number there, if I know that 2 times 10 is 20, 20 divided by 10 is 2. So we're using the inverse to solve that calculation. Okay, so like addition, we've just talked about addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division are the inverse of each other. And when we multiply by 10, the number gets 10 times bigger. If division is the opposite of multiplication, what do you think will happen to the number when we divide by 10? So the value of that number will get 10 times smaller. Okay, so let's just answer this question. Which direction do you think the numbers move on the place value grid when we are dividing? Okay, so think about when we multiplied, which direction the numbers or the digits moved in. So if we're doing the inverse, it's going to be the opposite direction. So they move to the right as they get 10 times smaller. Okay, let's have a look at this example. So we've got our place value grid in front of us. What number is shown on the place value grid? So it's a 3-digit number. We've got our hundreds, tens and ones. So hopefully we can all recognize that as being 210. If we divide the 210 by 10, then each digit needs to move one place to the right. So what number do you think we are left with? You can write that down on a piece of paper if you've got a piece of paper in front of you. And hopefully you can see that our 200s now become 2 10s. Our 110 is going to become a 1, and our 0 would actually end up in the tenths column, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So we've got our 2 10s, our 1 1, and our 0. We're still going to move it across so that you can see it actually doesn't have a value. It's not a placeholder because it comes at the end of the number, but we've just put it in the tenths so that you can see that every digit moves one place to the right. Okay, so now it's your turn to have a go. You can use your place value grid to work out the answer to these calculations. Okay, so if you want to pause the video now and have a go at those. Okay, so the answers for the blue calculations would be 31, 22, 62. For the orange calculations would be 130, 221, 740. And we're going to use our tenths place value column for the answers of our red questions. So we've got 8.1, 99.3, and we've got 102.5. Okay, so our final thought today for you to have a go at, there's a little problem here. There are 4 children in a race. The numbers on their vests are 350, 3,500, 35 and 53. So what I'd like you to do is to use the clues to match each vest number to a child. So you've got to go through the problem. It says that Jack's number is 10 times smaller than Emily's. Billy's number is not 10 times smaller than Jack's or Emily's or Dora's. And Dora's number is 10 times smaller than Jack's. Okay, so grab a piece of paper, work through that problem. I'm going to ask you to pause the video now, and then the answers will come up in a moment. Okay, so the answers, if you've got them, well done. Jack was 350, Billy was 53, Emily was 3,500, and Dora was 35. Okay, so hopefully we've learned a little bit more about dividing by 10. Think about how those digits move, so one place to the right. And hopefully everyone's okay, and we will see you back at school on Thursday. Okay, enjoy your day. Bye, Year 5.